Welcome to Borrow Notes Authentic Lives. I'm your host, Karyn Rosenberg. This is a space where tribute musicians and creatives share the personal stories behind the music, the meaning, the purpose, and the path that brought them here. Today, I'm joined by someone whose musical journey runs deep, Tony Monaco. Tony's the singer and pianist behind Turnstiles, one of the most respected Billy Joel tribute bands out there. He's been playing music since childhood, winning guitar competitions as a teen, touring with his own bands, Thrills, and even opened for acts like Foreigner and Orleans. His passion for the piano led him back to the sound and storytelling of Billy Joel, and eventually forming one of the first ever Piano Man tributes. Just last week, something incredible happened. Billy Joel himself showed up at one of Tony's shows in Wellington, Florida, and we're going to talk about that unforgettable moment, what it's like to dedicate your art to someone else's legacy, and how Tony has carved his own authentic past through music. So, Tony, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Karyn. It's nice to be here.
Yeah, totally. We have to just go kind of where this kind of started. So, and one of the questions that I have for you is, did you know this was going to happen?
No.
Did you have any idea?
No. In fact, nobody did. It wasn't like sometimes you might expect that, he might have got in touch with someone to make them knowledgeable about it so they could provide some security. I heard a story, and it was from a likely very respected resource, that he did a thing in Oyster Bay. He heard that the kids in the school were going to do a tribute to him, a choral tribute. And he called the school and he said, I want to come, but if I come there and the place is packed, I'm turning around. In other words, he did not want any publicity about him being there. He wanted to be able to walk in, sit in the back, not to intimidate the kids. And he went there. They did as he asked. And after the show, he got to go back and talk to the kids and everything. And, him coming to our show is something we've kind of fantasized about, because I knew Billy was living over on A1A, and he wasn't that far from a lot of places we played, and he was hanging out at other places, and people were calling me up and going, Billy's here, and then I'd run over and he wouldn't be there. But when he came into our dressing room, and it was surreal. I mean, I came out of the green rooms. They have like a little bit of a lounge area, and then off to the side is the actual dressing room. Well, I was in there, and he was coming into the main room with his daughters and his wife. And I saw Alexis come in, but I didn't recognize her at first. And I saw the girls come in, and I was like, oh my God, I recognized them, And then Billy was right behind them. And I says, I got to be honest, I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember every single word verbatim. But he came in, and I went up to him and basically said, I'm kind of dumbfounded, and I shook his hand and gave him a hug. And it's kind of emotional. And
That's okay.
I asked him, I says, what brings you here? He goes, I wanted to meet you guys. And I was like, okay, we can do this. And then his wife introduced me to Della and Remy, and they came over and gave me a hug. It was I'm like in this out of body experience at this point.
Surreal.
And they were so sweet. Those kids are so sweet. You can tell they're raised good. They have a lot of experience being around people, but they're a joy to be around. They really are just a joy to be around. In fact, I'm jumping ahead,
That's
but when
okay.
Billy finally came up on stage, I was about center stage, and they ran to me. They ran over to me and gave me hugs, and I was just so touched that sometimes children don't know you. They're kind of timid. They weren't. And I don't mean to take any liberties I don't deserve, but it almost felt like they were my grandchildren or, nieces, very young nieces. But it was so cool. It was just so cool. And the conversation ensued in the dressing room. A lot of it was lighthearted. and not so much on the music, just talking about life. I asked him how he was feeling.
Oh.
And he said to me, he says, I feel good. He goes, but my balance sucks. That's what he said. And I thought Billy looked pretty good, but you can tell that, he's dealing with some issues. But he spoke well. His eyes were nice and clear. I mean, he didn't look like, oh my God, he looked good. And I think his spirits were very high. They were telling me that they knew about a week in advance that this was happening. I mean, meaning the event in Wellington, because he has a horse farm in Wellington. And it wasn't that far from the amphitheater. So I got to believe they have a living quarters there that they could stay there. I'm sure it's just not a farm. So I don't know that that's where they left or came from. But I did ask him about it because back in 18, I was up in New York for a wedding and went to his bike shop. And he was telling me that they were building a horse farm. Or I don't think he was building it yet. They were talking about it. And I just asked him, did you go through with that? That's how I found out about where he's at right now. And it was interesting because, his wife talked, Alexis talked a lot. Not a lot, but I mean, she was involved. And she said that, we don't really know day to day. Some days are better than others. And we can't really make plans. So she said that they got to that morning and everything seemed copacetic, and they said, we're going to go. And from what I was told, I don't know if you're familiar with the Wellington Amphitheater.
Yeah.
But if you're backstage, there's like a long hallway that goes across the stage and behind it, obviously. And then there's a set of steps that goes down outside. Apparently, Billy went there. And he asked whoever he talked to, and I was told it was Rick, the gentleman that pretty much runs it. He said, is it okay if I meet the band? Can I come up and meet the guys? Of course they let him in. So that was pretty interesting. But where it got really interesting was him and I were talking, and I know he kids around. I shouldn't say kids around. He talks a lot about when he walks into a restaurant, and there's a guy playing piano. And they're usually playing Just the Way You Are. And they play this one chord wrong. Everybody does. I shouldn't say everybody, but most casual lounge guys, they're very accomplished, most of them. And they do it off the cuffs kind of thing. And one time I heard him on, I think it was on Stern, and he says, the guy starts playing Just the Way You Are, and he hits that chord. And he went over to him and said, nice try.
I heard that interview. I'm a huge Howard fan, so
Yeah,
I totally know the one you're talking about.
So
yes.
He's talking about, it's supposed to be a suspension. He goes, and it's just so white when he plays it the other way. So I was talking to him. We were talking about music, obviously, and I said, by the way, I play the suspension. I told him, I said,
Love that.
I got that. So anyway, at one point, Alexis kind of leaned into me, and she says, I think he might want to play. And I was like, oh. I said to Billy, you want to play? If you want to play, you can do the whole show. I'll sit out in the audience. And he goes, who's going to pay me? And I said, I got 5 crisp 20s.
That's so funny.
I'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. And then he goes, maybe. He goes, maybe. And then he went, let me see your set list. So I got the set list, and he's looking at it, and he went, this looks like my set list. I said, it is your set list.
That's so funny.
When I started writing sets back when the band was first hitting the ground, which wasn't pretty, by the way, I really believed putting that together down here, even though it was 14 years ago. I figured I knew a lot of people in the music business. I knew a lot of club owners and stuff. This isn't going to be hard to sell. It was hard to sell. It really was.
Wow. Okay.
We rehearsed for about 9 months, like 3 nights a week. And we were on the game. Our very first show, we were polished. We were on it. And it was a slightly bigger band. I was 7-piece back then. And it wasn't pretty, but we got it off the ground. So when I started writing the sets, I found it tedious. It's like, I like to pace a show. And I had an original band, you mentioned Thrills.
Yeah.
When we would do that, like our manager was really good at putting, his name is Tom Injegno. really good at putting together a list that, started out the way we want it to start out. Okay, and here's maybe where you do a ballad, and then you try to build it so you, boom, you get that big ending. So I says, I really got to look at what Billy's doing. And I found a website called Set FM.
Yeah, for sure.
If you go on there, anybody that's played, they not only give you the set, they give it what they wrote, the actual photo of it. I would imagine if they have it. So Billy always has it. I know what his set lists look like. I stole a couple because I've seen him a few times and I stole them off the stage. But I use that as the template. I move them around, but it's essentially Billy's sets. So he said, maybe we'll do New York State of Mind. And I thought that would have been great because we could have done a duet. And as he was walking out, this is like 40 minutes later, as he was walking out with his family, they were going to go out front because we were getting ready to go on. And he said to me, he says, yeah, I'll probably come up, and I moved New York State of Mind from number 3 down to like number 6 because I wanted to give it a little more time.
Right. How are you? I'm just curious. How are you feeling knowing he was going to come out where clearly the audience didn't know? Nobody had any idea except you knew. I mean, did that cause like any additional anxiety or stress or worry like looming? He's like there coming out at any time and who knows when? I can't even imagine.
Well, the funny thing is I actually, before I knew he was going to play, I asked him, I said, I don't want to do anything wrong, Billy. I said, are you okay with, I didn't know if he was just going to say hi and leave. So I said, am I allowed to tell them that A, you're here, or B, you were here? Is it okay if I mention it? And he was like, yeah, it's okay.
Wow.
And what I got intimidated about was, OMG, Billy's going to be in the audience, and I'm opening with Miami 2017, which is just piano. So it's like
It's like raw vulnerability, like you're just hanging yourself out there.
I was pretty pleased with the fact that I stayed in the mental space I needed to. But I will share this. I don't even know if I've shared this with anyone else. As we got closer to New York State of Mind, I wasn't seeing him coming up. And all kind of things went through my mind. Oh my God, maybe he heard the band. He didn't think we were good enough. Oh my God, maybe he left. I hope I didn't upset him. And this is going through my mind while I'm trying to do the show.
God.
And now I don't know what to do. And I kept saying in a very calm way, we have a special guest, that might be coming up later. And I didn't say it like as emphatic as I would if I wanted people to know who it was. And when we got to New York State of Mind, I says, all right, well, our special guest isn't coming up, so let me do the song. Thinking maybe he'll walk up. And, like kind of what George Michael did on that one show when he was singing Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me. He did a verse, and then Elton John walked out. So I'm thinking maybe something like that will happen. I'm trying to talk myself into something good. I got to be honest that I played the song well, but I was having a little vocal issue because my throat was so tense.
The anxiety. Was just there.
And
sure.
I don't know. I honestly don't know how it came out to the public. I don't think it was terrible, but I know it wasn't my normal performance. But when we got done with that, I told the people that Billy was there. He was already out there for 6 songs.
Right.
And from what I saw in pictures, I think everybody that was there that recognized him were very, very courteous. Because he would have left. I think he would have left if it got out of hand. But the people really, truly respected him from what I saw and know. And he stayed. So I said, by the way, once again, paraphrasing, our special guest was in our dressing room before we came out here. And that was none other than Billy Joel. Well, the people went nuts, right? So I said, I don't know if Billy's still here. I said, Billy, if you're here, please come up. We'd love to do something with you. And, there was a little bit of a ruckus in the crowd. I was ready to start Scenes from an Italian Restaurant. And all of a sudden I see to my left, stage left, he was walking up a ramp that comes up to the stage, and there were a couple PBO officers, and obviously Alexis and the girls. And I told you what the girls did. They ran up. And then I started talking to Billy, and I had to go into this headspace that I'd never existed.
What
Okay.
is that headspace? Describe
Well,
that
I went over
moment.
to my piano with Billy Joel, and I sat at the piano and started playing my piano with Billy Joel there. And I was just saying he wanted to do We Didn't Start the Fire, which I wasn't so sure why he picked that, but I wasn't, it's Billy, whatever you want to do. So we started getting into it, and you can really, if you listen to some of the videos, you hear some of the banter. And he said something like, I didn't know it was going to work today. And then he was kidding
God.
around.
Of course.
And then once we got him settled, because our band uses in-ear monitors. Bands that use in-ear monitors don't have any vocal feedback coming from speakers. It's all in your ears. So had we put Billy up there without putting a monitor in front of him, he wouldn't have heard anything that he wanted to hear. So I had our sound man, Joe Riley from Jack Flash Sound. He's one of the best around. And I told him in the dressing room, because he was in there with us, I says, you got to go out there and put a monitor up. And he was right on it.
Shout out to Joe. Yes.
Oh, amen. Yeah. So Joe walked up, and Billy now is sitting at my piano. And, oh, by the way, I said, so am I singing or are you singing?
Fair question.
And everybody went, Billy, you singing? And I didn't have a
You
problem.
officially lost your job at that point. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I have no problem losing my job to that man. So anyway, he was like, okay. So I said to him, I says, are you good? And he said, yeah, I'm good. He says, as long as I don't screw up the lyrics. And then he asked me how we were going to start the song, because that song, typically in concert, they have Crystal Taliaferro going crazy on the percussion, and then they go into the song. So I told him, I go, we're going to do it old school. We're going to just count it in, and we're off. So and he said something, and I went, wait a minute, don't you know the guy that wrote this song?
Love the humor. Oh my
And
God.
he goes, oh yeah, I know the guy that wrote this.
Off
So
the
we
cuff.
started the song. And I went over to stage right, where my guitar player usually sings, so I could sing the backgrounds with him. He went into the first verse, he was fine. He went through the chorus, it was fine. When he went to go for the next verse, he forgot it. And I saw it. He looked at me, so help me God. He looked at me as if to say, help. And I just went over. It was only 10 feet. But I'm believe it or not, all this went through my mind in seconds. How am I going to do this? I'll just sing. If I just go up to him and start singing in the line, he'll know. So I think how many people noticed that he didn't sing? It was pretty obvious, but maybe in the moment they weren't thinking it, and they just saw me go over there and do like a duet with him.
It was just a shared experience in
It
the
was,
moment. Yeah, of course.
yeah. And it happened one other time after that, but not terrible. We got through it. It really other than the little blips, it came out great.
That's rock and
And
roll
even,
for you. The blips.
yeah, the blips, the human blips. So he stood up after that song, and Alexis walked out, and then the people just started chanting again. Billy, Billy, Billy. There was about 6,000 people there. So that's my estimate, by the way. With that said, I guess, and again, I got to remember it because it was so incredible. I believe Alexis said, you want to do another one, if you want to do something else. And I said, Billy, you kind of got to do another one. And he picked up the set list and he goes, let's do Big Shot. So it was funny because my drummer started the song. Billy turned around and goes, it's too fast. It's too fast. And then I heard Jeff pull it back. Jeff McDonald's my drummer. And he pulled it back a little bit. He pulled the tempo back. And then Billy just seemed to really, not that he wasn't having fun on We Didn't Start the Fire, but when we got the Big Shot, it was like he hit this beautiful patch and he was just in the moment. And I was watching him and he was smiling He was watching his girls because they were dancing, and I went over and danced with them a little bit. It was just so much friggin' fun. And the whole time, because I've been around Billy, I've met Billy before, and had actually lengthy conversations with him over the years. Back in the 80s, I did it once, and then in 2018 at the bike shop. So I wasn't so much starstruck. It's just, I couldn't absorb it. It really doesn't seem real.
Yeah.
It does not seem real, but it seems perfectly real.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Oh, how you could be in the moment and it's
Yeah.
surreal, but it's magic.
It was so magic. And obviously we finished the song, and there were some goodbyes, and I believe he left. Some people said he stayed a little bit. Again, I had to finish the show. I mean, like about 45 minutes of the show was left. So, we all made a big fuss out of it, and we went about our business. But the interesting thing for me, one of the most interesting things to me, besides everything, was after we got done, we were back in the green room getting changed and everything, and everybody was talking about going to grab a bite. And we have a full crew that night, so we didn't have to worry about tearing anything down. So we said, somebody said, let's go over to the Wellington Mall. There's a Flanagan's there. So everybody left. I was getting ready to leave because we all had our own vehicles. And I saw Rick, the gentleman that hired me, and he's a friend of mine now after all these years. And I said, hey, by the way, do you have any idea when they'll be sending the payout?
That's an important question.
Kind of important. Because they've been doing a direct deposit lately. And he goes, I got the check. Let me go get it. So now I'm standing there for maybe 10 minutes, and they finally found the check, brought it over to me. Now I get in my car, and I'm making that little 5-10 minute drive. It hit me. It just hit me in the face. I went, wait a minute. This is way bigger than Billy playing with us. Billy hasn't been in the public eye since February.
Right.
I said, this is going to be sick because the media is going to get a hold of this. And I walked in with the guys and I told them that, and they hadn't thought of it either.
Oh, they hadn't.
Because it was all about, Billy coming to see us and
Yeah.
then playing with us. Or I should say, my band playing with him.
There you
'Cause I
go.
told the guys,
Absolutely.
You were Billy Joel's backup band.
Exactly.
Not just Turnstiles. You were his band for a while. So the next morning, my phone started to ring incessantly. It was like I probably got, I'm guessing. I did count them at one time. There was 47. But it kept going. It probably got up at least into the 50s. And admittedly, it was a lot of family, friends, some fans that, that I'm on a first name basis with and know me really well and have my phone number. Everybody was just calling in disbelief. And I got to a point where I came down with a shorter version of it. And I got through the day. But I realized this is way bigger than us. When we did the Garden last year with Vampire Weekend, we hired a publicist. And her name's Rachel. And she's awesome. She really is great. And I said to Jeff, my drummer, his wife went to school with her. Like high school. I believe it was high school. So she's moved away, but she was in media here in South Florida. So she knows a lot of people in media. If she sends out a press release, they look at it. So I got her on the phone, and she congratulated me. And I says, I think I need you because I'm not going to know how to do this. And she says, well, let me give you the overview. We got 72 hours. We have 72 hours to get something out. If we don't, the media will definitely get a hold of it somehow, but they're not going to have as much information or influence. So she said, I will make the press release up. She goes, but know this, you're going to have to work tomorrow. Meaning me. I had to get all the videos that people gave me. I did not download anything that I wasn't allowed to do because we ran into a little issue with it. I'm not going to get deep into that. But I sent Rachel a whole folder full of videos, a whole folder full of stills. And that took me better part of the day into the evening. So now I wake up Monday morning and I have a TV in my bedroom. I flip the TV on. I'm not exaggerating. As soon as it come on, the Today Show went into the segment. And I'm laying in bed going, you got to be kidding me. I'm listening to Al Roker talk about it. Do you know what I mean? I'm like,
So national. That's
oh,
insane. It's
it's
insane.
global. We got
Global,
video.
true.
We did. I mean, we had things from an Australian newscast. It was like a 5.5, 6 minute long spot. It was long. And they got into really deep and they were talking about it. I didn't see it, but there was one from Germany. There was one in the UK. Somebody told me there was one from Japan. But I mean, we were on, I can't even name them all. TMZ, Inside Edition. It just goes on and on and on. And what I'm doing right now is we're in the process of updating our website. Once we get done with it, there will be like the icons, like People
Sure.
Magazine. You hit People Magazine, it'll
Take
go
you
right to
the hyperlinks, I
the
think is what they're
hyperlink.
called,
Yeah,
right? To the that'll be
yeah,
oh, that's perfect.
yeah. So it's still it's still churning.
Yeah.
And now tonight, I put a thing up on Facebook. The place we're playing, they decided to open it to the public. It's not a big place. They always do that, and they forgot. So they got in touch with me over the last couple of days and said, please let people know that if they want to buy tickets, they're $35. You're going to have to call this gentleman, and he'll get you the tickets. And I wrote on Facebook earlier today. I said, this is what's going on. I says, and you can be at the show watching me play my piano with Billy Joel's fingerprints on it. You know, I even said in one
How
of
do
the
you ever
videos,
wash your hands or the keys of the piano again?
I
Right.
really, well, I did play it obviously after he
Right,
left.
right.
In fact,
Joking.
when he first sat down and started playing, I went like this: I'm never cleaning these keys again. I'm never cleaning them again.
Right.
So I was watching some of the videos last night, and I was watching the girls, and I even said, look at this. Their fingerprints and handprints are going to be on my piano. I'm
So
not going to take
sweet.
them off either, at least not for a couple shows. So I don't know. I mean, all I can say is I feel so blessed that this journey has taken me where it's taken me, and the band and the band's morale has never been higher. I
That's
mean, not
awesome.
just we went through a little bit of rough times. There was some conflict in the band, and it wasn't anything against anybody. It just became not a good fit. And my guitar player decided to resign after many, many years. I've known him since we were teenagers, actually before teenagers. And I still love him, and we still talk, but we had to make some changes. And those changes have been positive. New blood, it's not somebody's better than one another, it's just new blood. So add that to we got the garden,
Yeah.
and now we did this, and everything's been going really, really well for us. So
That's
knock wood.
amazing. Absolutely. I'm curious, like, why Billy Joel? Like, how did it first kind of, because you did have your other bands, other gigs. Like, what was it when did that pivot take place for you?
Well, let me put it this way. I had my original band Thrills, and I was in my 20s, my early 20s. And at that time, I was practicing piano like 8 hours a day, like all these exercises and stuff. And I was into like Emerson, Lake and Palmer,
Ooh,
Chick Corea,
nice.
Return to Forever. I mean, all this fusion jazz stuff. That's what I wanted to listen to because of the musicianship. And that's what I was aspiring to. Now, my manager said to me one day, he says, you guys are listening to all this stuff. It's nothing like we want to do. We're trying to write hit songs. He goes, you need to be listening to singer-songwriters. And he said to me, why don't you listen to Billy Joel? So help me God, Billy, I'm sorry if you hear this. I went, you talking about the guy that does Piano Man? Now I'm 21 and my head's in the clouds. I said, that sucks. That song sucks. Because it wasn't this musical flaring runs and everything. And he goes, just do me a favor. Forget Piano Man. Go out and buy his albums. At the time, I think Turnstiles hadn't even come out yet. And I put on Root Beer Rag from Street Life Serenade. Not Street Life Serenade. What am I saying? Am I wrong? I'm having a senior moment. Well, anyway, I heard Root Beer Rag. And I heard him playing, and I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God, this guy's unbelievable. Then the Stranger, Turnstiles came out, The Stranger came out. I became addicted, like ridiculously addicted. I wanted to know every song. I wanted to know every word because I know other people that feel this way. Billy's songs, maybe not every one of them, but they talk to me. I get it. I relate instantly. And one time I went years ago, he was playing in Jones Beach Theater up on the
That's a
island.
good that's a good place. Yep.
And I was sitting right next to his sound engineer, Brian Ruggles, who's a family friend. And when Billy did Piano Man that night, I literally had tears rolling down my face because I wasn't doing what I really wanted to do yet. And when I heard, if I could only get out of this place, I know I could be a movie star if I could only get out of this place.
Those
That line
lyrics.
punched me right in the gut. And I said, what he's doing is what I want to do. And even with Thrills, I kind of dressed like Billy with the tie and, the jacket. I was kind of copying a little bit, making it my own, but I was thinking Billy Joel. And there even is a couple songs on our album, one of our albums that it's pretty Billy Joelish. And after that when we lost our record deal, we were with a subsidiary of London Records. They went out of business. And we didn't know how to continue. And unfortunately, it was the demise of the band. And I started doing other things, and ended up moving down here. I did do a Billy Joel tribute on Long Island, but I had stopped doing it because I got transferred from Long Island to Florida. Well, when I got down here, I thought, I'm just going to write. I'm not going to be in a band. 6 months later, I was in a band. And I was in that band for 16 years. And we made a lot of money. We were a corporate. Once we progressed, we were like a well-known corporate wedding band. The band was called Shakedown and did really, really well. And I loved playing with everybody. But as we got older, I started looking at some of the songs we needed to play. And I'm not going to mention them, but just so they weren't it's not me. And I was probably in my 50s then. And I said, I can't do this anymore. It's way too much work. I don't like the music. I just got burned out. And this friend of mine, Phil Antonucci, who was like a brother to me, he was doing a Chicago tribute at the time. And he said to me, he had a specific way of talking, and I'm not good at impressions, but he was like one of these guys. He goes, why don't you just do the Joel thing, man? He goes, you did it up here. Why don't you just do it down there? He goes, you learn the shit and you never have to do anything else. I didn't have to learn any more songs. And it hit me. And I says, you know what? If I'm going to play cover music, I'm doing Billy. I want to play his music. And I got back on that horse. And we've been riding it for 14 years.
Yes, you have. Well, and I'm curious because tribute isn't imitation. You kind of like were saying, right? And it definitely is not. You're paying tribute to somebody that's really meant something to you even personally. How has it been? How have you created it as your own artistic, ability too? So where, some people say, oh, if it's a tribute and you're just playing note for note, you're just doing, and maybe certain things you do, but I'm wondering for you to keep it interesting for yourself, Do you musically or stylistically make any nuance or any creative freedom, or do you play it exactly as written?
Mostly exactly, as close as I can humanly get. Um, I don't try to do an impersonation of Billy, but I do phrase like him. I don't play with his phrasing. Well, I'll listen to a live album. I might hear a way he plays or sings something, and I learn it. And I put that in once in a while just to change it up. I sing with my voice. My voice at times really resembles Billy's, and that doesn't hurt. I don't think I sound exactly like him. But it's funny because I can't tell you how many times this has happened. We've done well over 700 shows. And I've had people come up to me and go, "Oh my God, you sound exactly like him. Oh my God, you even look like him. Oh my God, you're better than Billy." And I want to punch them when they say that because that's impossible. That's impossible. I don't give a shit. Oh, excuse me.
You can, whatever.
I
This is say
really,
whatever you
no,
want.
no, but I really don't care about that. I'm not trying to sound exactly like him. I'm paying homage to him. I want his music to be represented right. If I said, if we can't do this right, I'm not doing it. Because I don't want people going, I went to see this Billy Joel tribute. They were just okay. Or maybe they sucked. Um, I know that we're fairly well known and we're one of the better ones. That doesn't mean I don't I don't admire some of the other people that are doing it because we're all friendly.
Sure.
I know most of the guys that are doing it, and I got calls from most all of them or texts. And anyway, getting back to your question, all of my guys, my sax player is insane. He's one of the best around. And I tell Ronnie, I need you to play the signature lines like they're on the record. But if you go see Billy and he does New York State of Mind, in the middle that when it drops down to just him playing piano and singing, and his sax player Mark Rivera riffs a little bit. Ronnie does the same thing, but he's doing Ronnie.
Love that.
And we do change things up a little bit and make them ours, but we do not want to get too far off path because we don't want somebody walking in and going, "What the hell are they playing?"
All right.
We want them to hear Billy's music the way Billy did it.
Sure.
Again, as close as we can.
Sure.
So, and I love it. I told Billy when I met him at the bike shop, I said, your music is like pasta to me. I never get tired of it.
So true about pasta
Never.
and
I
Billy. I mean, come
never
on.
get tired of it. My mom could have fed me pasta every day of the week and I'd be fine.
Right.
But
Love that.
I love his music. And people have said to me, "Don't you get tired of it?" And I don't. I really don't. Because it's not so much the songs, it's the connection we make with the people. It's like we're all going, we friggin' love Billy Joel. We're providing it, they're feeding it back to us. And that is what makes it. The money doesn't hurt,
Helps.
but
Yeah.
it's really not that about that.
What's the
I'm going.
definition of a successful show to you? Is it, speaking of money, is it like the number of people that came out, the applause? How do you know when it was just a really, obviously not last week, that was like other
Yeah,
level
that
in the
was yeah.
ethernet, right? But
Well, to be very honest, we rarely don't get a standing ovation. Some of them are more intense than others. But what makes me happy is if I see like 4 or 5 faces that are just locked on us and they're smiling and they're all having a good time. If we're making people happy, that's the greatest thing in the world. Like my guitar players, my new guitar player, Rob Arndt, he's an incredible guitar player. But more importantly to me, I've gone to see him many times his solo. He does a lot of solo work. And in his act, he'll say, "I love my job. I get to make people happy with what I do, playing my guitar. And this is the best job in the world." And I feel the same way because I could make the biggest amount of money we've ever made And if the show wasn't received with passion, I'm not happy. I don't care about the money. I mean, it's a business now. We have to care about the money. But for me, the enjoyment, the pleasure, what keeps me going is that connection with other Billy Joel fans. Because that's what we are, right? I had a guy come up to me one time and he said, I think I'm a bigger Billy Joel fan than you are. And I went, okay, where's your band playing tonight?
True, that's the ultimate in
I mean,
fandom.
anybody that spends their life, I mean, I've literally, and I have no problem saying it, I'll play Billy's music for the rest of my life. And I don't need anything else.
What's the first Billy Joel song you ever learned from start
Ooh,
to finish?
ooh,
If you
that's
could
a good
remember
one.
that.
Um, I remember starting with Root Beer Rag, and at the time, it was really upsetting me. Because back then I was a better reader than I am now. I don't read that often. And there wasn't any music. I had to figure it out. And it wasn't digital back then. You had to pick the needle up, put it back, put the needle up, put it back. And it got frustrating. But I do remember working very hard on Scenes from an Italian Restaurant. That's my favorite Billy Joel song. If I had to pick one, that's it.
I was going to ask you that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
What's the most challenging song to play and to sing, maybe sing or
Billy the
play?
Kid is that ain't easy. Um, I don't know. They all have. Billy is what I love about him is if you look at the Nylon Curtain album and then you go over to Glass Houses, it's not the same band. It's not the same feel. It's not the same sound. And I'm going to use a band, and I'm not saying anything bad about him. I love this band actually, Aerosmith.
Okay.
When Aerosmith does a song, and all the time you know it's them. I remember hearing new songs on the radio when Billy was coming out, and I'm like, is this Billy? It doesn't sound like Billy, because he changes his voice up sometimes. He kind of plays with it, and like certain piano parts, they may not seem that difficult. Like Summer Highland Falls, it's a little challenging to sing and play at the same time. And luckily, I'm fairly adept at that. I have my issues until I get comfortable with it. But it's like anything else. It's easy once you know how.
For sure.
It's easy once you know how.
For sure.
But we got a show tonight, and we got a show tomorrow, two next week. We're really busy this month through February, and I booked three shows yesterday, so
That's awesome.
I'm just
What's
so thankful.
That's amazing. What's one thing people misunderstand about being a tribute artist, and really, like you're like the ultimate Billy Joel tribute artist? And what would you want them to know?
It's hard. It's a lot of work. I mean, I manage the band. I book more gigs than my agents do. It's not all fun and games. It's financial pressure sometimes. The fixed expenses of my business is my fixed expenses. So down here in the summertime, like July, maybe even through into September, there's not a lot of work. So we have to go on the road. So that takes planning. Um, it's a passion. You can't. Again, I don't want to say anything negative because anybody that's playing music and having fun, I I promote it. It doesn't matter to me. Everybody doesn't have to do a tribute, but when I started doing this tribute, a lot of musician friends of mine said to me, "Why in the hell would you do this?" And then about 2 years later, they wanted to know how to do it.
Right. It's like, can you give us that tutorial, please? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not that I'm the end all be all by a long shot, but I did
But
get a
you've
lot of
learned some
experience.
things along the
Yeah, I
way.
learned a lot. And I have dear friends in the business, and I do share things with them, and they share with me. I just don't like, I don't care for when people try to make something a tribute it's really not. I mean, genre tributes I get, but there were a few that I've run across that It's really not a tribute. You're just trying to make it one. And then the other thing, I don't think bands know their value. Most bands don't know their value. We should not be letting people tell us what we're worth. I watch the crowds. I see the attendance. I know what I'm worth. I know what we're worth. And I try to get that more often than not. And there's a lot of musicians. My dad was one of them. They went to a venue and back in the '60s and said, we have this band, and they were very, very popular, my dad's band. And they were like, well, we pay this much. And most musicians go, okay. I didn't do it that way. In the beginning, I ate a lot of crow. But once we got traction, this is the price.
Yeah. You have to know your worth, and it is as much as for sure the music and the passion, but it is a business as well, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
A few other questions I want to ask you. One is, what's on your playlist that people wouldn't expect that you listen to, that people would be a little surprised?
What you mean, other than Billy?
Yeah. Your own personal music that you love to listen to. Yeah.
I listen to a lot of jazz.
Jazz. Okay.
My jazz idol, he's not even human in my opinion, is Oscar Peterson. When that man plays piano, it's like nothing I've ever heard. And there are some other people, don't get me wrong, Art Tatum and Bill Evans, McCoy Tyner. A lot of these jazz piano players really inspire me. So like when I want to play something that's not Billy, I tend to be in that. I'm learning more and more about that. And I don't know that I'll ever be the greatest jazz piano player by a long shot, but I like having more of that in my hands. And I have a grand piano. I have a studio in my house, and I want to write again, and I haven't really had the time with Turnstiles. It's a full-time job. God willing, one day,
Yeah.
I'll leave something behind that people can. I mean, I do have a pretty big. What do they call it?
Like a catalog?
Yeah,
Catalog?
that's a good word. Catalog.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Thrills we did 4 albums, and I've been on a lot of other people's records. Friends that put albums out, I played on. I was with a blues band called Blues Dragon, and we got very popular, and we were a semifinalist in the International Blues Competition.
Amazing.
So I did learn to love the blues, but it's just finding that comfortable place that makes me happy, that I can make a good living doing it. And Billy just delivered the icing on the cake.
Definitely.
He really did.
Um,
I
Carrie,
love that man.
for
I
who
do.
to not
I
love.
think I kissed him about 10 times,
Oh,
literally.
that's so
I kissed him
special.
on his head,
Yeah. Oh,
I'm kind of a mushy guy, I like to hug and not inappropriately, don't
of
get me
course.
wrong. But,
Of
I'm not,
course.
if I get friendly with a woman, what am I shake her hand? I mean, I'm not, I'll
That's a
just
no.
give
I
you a
know.
friendly hug, that's the
Yeah.
way I was raised.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
I love Billy Joel as a person. I love him as an artist. I love him as a lyricist. I like the way he thinks. I really and truly do. And he's become my hero.
Of his music, what is a deep cut or underrated track that he's got that you'd love to play, but like nobody would? There's always that one song, like it's your dream deep cut song, but
Oh my
like
God,
nobody's
there's a
gonna want to
couple
listen
of
to
them.
it, right?
There's a couple of them. To that point, when we perform, the way I look at it is we're playing to John Q. Public, so to
Yep.
speak. So they know Billy Joel, they love Billy Joel, but they know the hits. So if I came out and did Get It Right the First Time, which we've done, they don't know it.
Right.
All right. One of my favorite songs of Billy's, and he kind of stole this to some degree from Beethoven, Ludwig Beethoven. The song "This Night" from the Innocent Man album. That song brings me to tears. It brings me to tears. The lyrics, the melody is so evoking. He took a section of a classical piece and used that. But he gave credit. I mean,
Right.
he's doing the right way. The song Souvenir. It's a minute and a half long. I've been ending the show with it. It just says so much to me, you know. And there's a few more. There's many that I would like to play. We did Rosalinda's Eyes. And when we put that song together, I really felt it was one of the best renditions of any of Billy's music we've ever done. We were nailing that song. And nobody cared. I hate to put it that way, but it was not a good spot in the show. You just never know. I thought that Sleeping with the Television On, I said, that's going to be a great, it's upbeat song. It'll be great. We'll learn it. We learned it. And,
So funny.
but if we play Scenes from an Italian Restaurant,
Right. People go
they
crazy.
go nuts. We
Yeah.
play My Life, they go nuts. So we're kind of, if there's something that I say, I don't want to go as far as say I don't like, I just have to accept. My sets end up looking almost identical. If I'm doing a 90-minute set, it's not that far off of any other 90-minute set. Maybe a few changes. Because we got to make the people happy. And we call the other people Joel heads. I could play anything and they'd love it. But that's not the masses. That's not what we play to on a regular basis.
As a Rush head, I understand that.
Yeah.
Right. Give me any
Well, see,
Rush
I
song.
love Rush, but I probably don't know them as well as you do. There's so many great. Listen,
Yeah.
Stevie Wonder. Do you want to talk about a genius? I mean, dear God, there's so many people, but Billy grabbed me and he got me right here,
Awesome.
and that's why I do it. I mean, I think people look at me sometimes when I get this way, and I say I'm just being honest.
Honest is the way to be.
I mean,
what was your first show, your first concert you ever went to?
Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Oh, hey, there you go. ELP.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, so
That was my
awesome.
first concert. My second concert was Deep Purple, who I loved back in those days,
Yeah.
and it wasn't good. I mean, the band was the loudest thing I've ever heard in my life, and I think they were a little altered, if you get my
I'm
drift.
sure. I'm sure.
And I was standing in like the third row at the Civic Arena in Pittsburgh, that's my hometown, and I was there with one other friend of mine. We had to be driven there because we were that young. And there were people getting sick all around me. It was just disgusting. I did not have fun. Then I remember this. My third show was Chicago. And they are one of my favorites. Chicago they're up in the top 2 or 3 for me.
Yeah.
I love their music. I always did. I played in horn bands when I was younger.
Oh,
And I love music.
yeah, that's it. As a music lover, you can
I
appreciate
love music,
so many different
I can
artists.
appreciate anything.
Right. What's your
And,
last big, last show you went to that wasn't a Billy Joel show that you were at, obviously? Your last concert you went to.
was my last concert. I want to say it was Dweezil Zappa.
Wow. I didn't see that coming. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I was a big Zappa fan. I
Okay.
wasn't a Zappa head
Okay.
because I think you and I get that.
Yeah,
When you
totally.
said I'm a Rush.
Right.
Rush head. So I mean, we're a little obsessive. I wouldn't say I was obsessive over Frank Zappa, but I loved his music. I thought it was insane. And going to see his son play, it's even more insane. I don't want to say I was disappointed in the show because the musicianship was off the charts. But some of it was just a little bit like, okay, I get it. Can we do something else?
Got it.
That's just me.
Sure.
But I did enjoy it. They were great. I go see a lot of fellow tribute bands.
Yes, I
I
hear
do.
you.
'Cause we have a kinship. And it's a pretty supportive network.
We're so lucky down here. There's so many awesome ones. It's
Yeah, there's
it's
a lot of great
thing.
bands down here. And we just do our thing and hope for the best.
Yeah, for
And,
sure. For sure.
God's been good.
Yeah.
God's been good.
Well, I appreciate it. If people want to know more about you and know more about your band, let everybody know how they could find you.
Well, I mean, I have my own page. They could friend me. We obviously have our Facebook page and Instagram page.
And tell people what those are. What are the handles?
Oh, if I had to tell you, I don't even know.
I'll have it tagged. Don't worry. I
Yeah,
got you covered.
yeah. I mean, I'm, I try to do a lot of my own social network, and I know I'm not doing a great job. I get so busy that I forget. I mean, I didn't even have anything up about Billy playing Friday night till 3 days ago. There was nothing on my website. Zero. It was all over my Facebook page and Instagram. Um, I'd like to get a TikTok just for the band.
Yes, totally. You can do that.
I know, I know.
It's just one more thing to do. I
Well,
know.
see, that's what it is. I'm at a
It's one more
point
thing to
now
do.
for our band with the recognition we've gotten from just last Friday night. I need somebody to manage that. I need a social media
You
man.
can find one. I'll talk to you offline. I'll give you some good suggestions of how you could find some people that could totally help you do that for
The only
sure.
problem is a couple of the people that I talk to, and I'm not saying they're not worth it.
Yeah,
It's a lot to carry month to month.
right.
But you got to weigh out what am I getting for that? Because
Totally.
I get value. So it's just a matter of me trying to find that good fit that works for me. I know a couple people have been telling me about AI
Yes.
does social media management.
Oh my God, boy, we could have
Yeah,
a whole conversation about that. I know
yeah.
it's crazy. It
So
is.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the future holds in that sense, but I know that my goal, we're doing a new website. We
Okay.
got to do new pictures because I got new people. I got to shoot a new video. And all that costs money,
Yeah.
especially the video. So in the next, say, 3 to 4 months, that's my goal is to get those things done. And I want the band to look a little bit more, I'll say professional. My
Hmm.
son, my oldest, well, both of my boys are very, very blessed. They're both very successful, and they're both one way or another involved in tech. And my oldest son, Michael, he said to me after he was at the show,
Cool.
and he said to me the next day, he goes, I hope you don't take offense to this. He goes, but you need to update your website. He says it looks dated. Not to him, it looks dated. People in my generation are looking at it, going, "Oh, your website's really nice."
They're just like, that's great. You have a website because some of them don't even have one. Oh,
Well,
it's all good. It's all
luckily, I had a conversation with my bass player, John, and I knew he was in IT, but I didn't know he did websites.
there you have
I
it.
talked to him one morning. This was a few days ago. By the afternoon, I had a rough draft
See,
of the
keep it in
website.
house. I love that. A bass
And
player that can be multifaceted. It's a
yeah,
beautiful thing. That's
well, my guys,
awesome.
everybody helps me however they can.
Yeah, that's great.
Everybody does, but I have my main guy that is on my elbow every day is Greg Gritano, my keyboard player. He came when we were starting to get a few fly dates, and we had to get hotels because we were going to be on the other side of the up Florida. Trying to do all that and get all that together on top of what I was trying to do. And he stepped up one day. We had lunch together, and he goes, "Why don't you let me do that?" And it's not that I'm a control freak, but I'm a control freak.
Sure.
So I says, "You know what, bro? Thank you." And he's been doing it now forever.
That's awesome.
And we've kept a lot of it in house. There's nobody in the band that hasn't helped me if I asked, ever.
That's
And
great.
I have a great crew that work with us. And like I said, it's evolved. Every once in a while, I'll be watching the band pack up,
Mm,
and it looks professional. It's like we do this right.
yeah.
And I'm so proud to see that, we used to drive in our cars and, we had broken down suitcases that we put our wires in. And we got to the point where it's like, I'm getting a truck, we're buying casing, and we're doing this right. And it's so amazing to me to have a dream and watch it unfold. Even though we're nothing like Billy as far as the scope of financial reward, but I'm just really happy where we're at.
That's
And
that's great.
if we can get it a little bit higher up.
Well,
I'll
you're
go for that.
you're starting 2026 off pretty darn well. So
Yeah.
I'd say keep that manifesting is happening in real time. So I really appreciate all of this time that you've given to me
Not a
and
problem
to
at all. Not a
my
problem at all.
audience.
It's a pleasure.
And thank you for for being on this musical journey, and also for the listeners. Thank you for supporting live music. Go see live music.
That's key. That's key. I mean, because especially after what we went through in 2020,
Yeah,
anything artistic got kicked to the curb.
yeah,
And I think that's when a lot of people really realized, oh my God, this world without music, live music, sucks.
absolutely.
And we didn't, as musicians, in the beginning of all that, we didn't know where it was going.
Yeah,
We didn't know. And it was very, very scary
yeah.
for everybody, especially people in the arts.
For sure. Well,
Yeah.
have a great gig tonight and all your other ones. Again, thank you so much, Tony. I really
No
appreciate
problem,
it.
Karen.
Yeah,
I thank you for
thank
asking me to do
you.
it.
Thank
And
you.
if you and your husband ever want to come to a show,
Will do. Oh, of course. Absolutely.
come see us.
Yeah. I'm Karyn Rosenberg. Thank you for listening to Borrowed Notes Authentic Lives, and hope to see you at a show. Rock on.